Shauna, I don't know if you're going to like this question, but I don't know if anybody in the country has a 4-game stretch to end the year like you guys do, and it's a hell of an opportunity for your group. I go back to Jen's press conference after the Ohio State game. We still have a lot to play for. It's kind of an innocuous quote, but she couldn't be more right.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's good and bad, right? You look at it and you're like, oh my gosh, we have Indiana, Iowa, Michigan State, Nebraska, and it's an absolute gauntlet because they're all 3 quad 1 games.
Sure.
And then obviously Nebraska beat Iowa. So, but you also with that have, like Jen said, great opportunity. So it starts, tomorrow with Indiana, obviously one of the top teams in the country, coming to our place. And they're going to all be extremely tough games, but great opportunities. And we got to play extremely well in order to be in the game. We've played them tough. We just could, for 3 games, the 3 games I've played against Indiana, we've played them tight. We just can't get, break through and get that big W.
Just maybe the last month from Gretchen, what have you maybe seen from her, just the confidence kind of building, and has there been a moment when you kind of saw this progression kind of coming along for her?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it all along, and I think I've told you guys, I know what she's capable of doing, and it's just normal freshman. You defer a little bit as a freshman, and your confidence has to continue to grow. Now she's getting so many, 20 plus minutes a game. And I just think every game she just looks a little bit more in rhythm, a little bit more confident. And you saw that at Penn State. I thought it was her best game overall. Didn't think twice about her shots, was super aggressive, hit some really big shots, made some really big hustle plays. Defensively, she was really solid. She just continues to improve every single day. She's gonna be an unbelievable player here, and super excited about her future. But right now she's helping us, as a freshman. So I'm so happy with where she's at and how she's progressed daily.
I don't mean to make the comparison with Caitlin Clark, but I know you've referenced how Gretch has a big long range, that ability. Maybe when you look at what Clark is doing and you're recruiting players, I mean, has that maybe changed how you look at recruiting, what she can do? And maybe when you saw Gretchen, you saw something similar in them?
Yeah, I mean, Caitlin Clark's one of one, right? She's just, it's just so amazing what she does and what she does on that consistent basis. And I look at even last year, Caitlin Clark, to this year, and her progression, her growth even in a year, her maturity. It's amazing. So I don't think there's going to be other people that are, there may be never another Caitlin Clark. So I don't really want to put anyone in that category, but Gretchen's special, and she has special abilities, and she can, she's an elite scorer. She has great range, and I think we're only seeing the surface of it. I just think once, you're a sophomore, junior, senior, and you have that, like, this is my team, this is what I need to do, I think she's going to have just a whole nother level of that scoring mindset. And I keep telling her to have that now. I don't care if you're a freshman. If you're open, shoot it. If you have driving lanes, drive it. Like, be ultra aggressive, because that's how much confidence I have in her.
Gotcha.
Did you go into Penn State thinking short bench, I can kind of ride 5-6 player rotation, or did it just kind of work out that way?
Yeah, I never go into any games. I don't have any sort of predetermined rotation. I don't have any, I go off of who's been practicing really well. That's probably the only thing. I'm a real feel person in games. Obviously, we play our main 5-6 a lot.
Sure.
And it's just what we do. And, obviously Gretchen's in that rotation now. And then from the 4 spot, I really had liked how Shea had been practicing. So she, got those minutes, and I thought she did. I know it was only 4 or 5 minutes, but I thought she was really, really solid in them. I want a deeper, rotation, but right now it's what we got, and it's working. And it's just, Penn State plays 10 kids, and sometimes I think you can get out of a rhythm that way. Our kids kind of go through the ups and the downs of it, but it's just where we're at right now.
The reason I asked was I look at somebody like a Bren or a Cam and go, I remember last year what Sam Dewey was able to do for you late in the year, especially when you were going through all those injuries. There's going to be a point, especially during this 4-game stretch, you're going to need somebody like that.
Yeah, we are, and that's where I thought for the 2 days leading up to Penn State in our practices, it was the best our 1 through 14 had been collectively. I thought it was our best practices of everyone was locked in, and to me, like with the guys that are still continuing to try to get more minutes, practice is what is just key. And I think we've now put together our best 3-day stretch, counting yesterday, of 1 through 14, being locked in, doing what they're supposed to be doing, and it's helping them individually, and obviously it's helping us collectively, because I thought Penn State was one of the better games we've played all year against a really good team. So we continue to need more depth, and that a lot of that is determined in practice setting.
It seems to me that this game you have against Indiana, you're a more new team that they've seen than anybody else because of Hobby. You can throw a Hobby at a Mackenzie Holmes, and the last 3 meetings you've had, it's just kind of been all on KB.
Yeah, you're right. And rewatching that first game we played against them, we're totally different. And obviously they're different too without Parrish. If she doesn't, who knows if she'll play or not. But you're 100% right. We have a little bit different looks now. We can throw multiple people at her. It's hard for anyone to guard Mackenzie Holmes for 40 minutes.
Sure.
So now KB, we can rotate back and forth. Hobby can bang with her. KB can bang with her. We can send doubles with a bigger person in KB when we're there together, which matters, instead of doubling with someone small, and then it's a little bit harder. So I think we're different than what we've faced them the last few times, and we gotta capitalize on some of the advantages we have, because then there's going to be some mismatches too for us defensively, because they play mostly 4 guards now, unless they match our big lineup, which will be interesting to see what Terry does to start.
When she surrounds her 2 Holmes with like a Sarah Scalia and Chloe McNeil, who are both shooting at a high level, what does that kind of just do? And maybe those 2 have kind of emerged with Parrish out as well.
I think Chloe, really from our game, and our game was the first game after Christmas. And if you listen to what Terry said, and a lot of her, actually the press conference after our game, she had met with Chloe and really was on her about being more aggressive and being more of a scorer. And she was against us. She had 20-some points, and really since then she's really taken off and been super aggressive, looking for her shot way more than she did last year. So you got to neutralize her. It starts with her, and then Scalia is shooting at just an elite level right now. So you take away a shooter and a glue player in Parrish, because Parrish does so much for them defensively, offensively. And now they put in someone that's not as much of a shooter, so that's where we're going to try to utilize that person more as like a rover and a helper, on Holmes down, and try to just muck it up a little bit more in the paint.
Speaking of someone who's been aggressive, what you've got now to Daly McKenzie, not just the efficiency perspective, but also just maybe shooting more, attempting more. Has that been a conversation you had with her, or is that just maybe just from confidence that she's taking more shots?
I think a little bit of both. I'm constantly telling her I want her to get downhill as much as possible. So I'm more, even in Penn State, she took a couple jumpers. I'm like, drive it. I know that we can get to the rim on them. And she finished at an elite level against Penn State. Only missed a couple shots and had some and one. She's really utilized her strength. So that's where I really want her to her 15-foot jumpers, I'm good with. She's been hitting those. But just continuing to drive and have that downhill aggressive mindset to get to the rim and finish at the rim. And she's been doing that. But the biggest thing and you guys know I've said it so many times, the biggest thing with her is how she's been defending. I mean, she neutralized Owusu, and that's hard to do. Ashley Owusu's a bucket, and Adalia really locked in. She had to go through her chest on everything. It was one of the better defensive performances I've seen from Dal in her career here.
We know KB was sick last week. Health-wise, you guys are pretty good to go as you enter this last month?
No, right now, knock on wood, we're good, and I told KB right after the game, it was great to have you back 100%. I mean, it was, it's part of the game, but we needed her in that Maryland game, and God, she fought like crazy. She wanted to play, but when you don't practice for 2 days and you're as sick as she was, it shows the toughness that she has to even try to attempt to play that game. But you could see she wasn't her normal self, and then it was great to have her back. But right now, everyone's you never know. It's day to day. There's so much stuff going around, but we're feeling good right now.
It seems like Kimball's been so consistent for you guys, literally start to finish all year. What's behind? How does she